Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to A Perfect Side, where we take an album and I say which is my favourite side of it. And this is one of my choices. I put this one in. And it's Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Now this was his 7th album. And it came out in October 1973, and it is a double album. So side 1 opens up with a long track, but a fantastic track, Funeral for a Friend and Love Lives Bleeding. My favourite start to any Elton John album. It's probably got one of the best guitar solos on any Elton John album. And I love the blend that Funeral of a Friend goes into Love Lies Bleeding. What a track to open up an album. 11 minutes of wonderful, wonderful music. Great piano playing. Elton on fire. Great track. The second track, Candle in the Wind. I love this track. It's of course all about Marilyn Monroe, but I've got some stick. I think the Lady Diana version is absolutely cheesy. I didn't like it at all. But the original is just top draw Elton John. Wonderful track. Track 3, Benny and the Jets, a classic. The piano on it is just awesome. That dun 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 dun. Great vocal from Elton. What a track to end side 1. So let's move to side 2. And it is one of my favourite tracks ever by Elton. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Absolutely killer. Just a wonderful vocal, wonderful arrangement. Brilliant track. Up next, the song has no title. It's just another those Elton John sitting at the piano and singing. Super little track. Grey Seal. I love the piano at the beginning of this. It's got a great intro. It's just solid. Very catchy tune as well. Jamaica Jerk Off. It has got that little bit of Caribbean feel to it. A little bit of reggae sort of percussion. Works well. I've seen that movie too. Another great track, probably one of my favourite tracks on the album. Or what I like about this track, it's just catchy. Elton is such a great singer. So that was side 2. So we'll move across to side 3. Sweet Painted Lady. Now I remember when I ranked these, I said I am a sucker to tracks like this. I am. I like very simple tracks. Piano, singing, you don't need much more. It's just a lovely song. The Ballad of Danny Bailey. It's a story. I love stories. Probably the best deep cut track on this album. Absolutely killer track. Dirty Little Girl. Heard this live. It's a great little track live. It's got some great drumming on this. Absolutely brilliant. Then we have All the Girls Love Alice. It's a little upbeat sort of soft rocker. The rocky piano on it is brilliant. I think this is a hidden gem on this album. And then we move over to the last side, side 4, and it opens up with a little rock and roll number called Your Sister Can't Twist But She Can Rock and Roll. Good old fashioned rock and roll. There's not much more you can do with that. Then we have the classic Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting. Saturday, that classic opening riff as well. That dun 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 dun. Brilliant. I love that. Absolutely wonderful track. Then we have a little song all about Roy Rogers, which is really fun. Some lovely strings and piano on that one. Then we go into a little bit of country for a bit of Social Disease. Some lovely saxophone on this, which I do like. Harmony, the last song on the album. It's got a really good little rocky bit on this. It's a sort of ballady as well. Some beautiful playing and strings on this. I do like this. Now, this album is my favourite Elton John album. I think I ranked this #1 in the 70s of Elton John, but I'd always rank this at the top of any Elton John ranking. There's not a bad track on this, so this was difficult. So it all came down to I'd split them into the 2 albums. Which album had the most tracks I really, really love, even though I love them all. And it came down that this LP2, it's got 1 or 2 outstanding tracks. So it went down to album 1. Now, I was talking to Richard McCook on, I think, Simon's live stream, and he predicted which side I would put. And you'll find out in a minute which one it was. So let's have a look at this album. So side 1 has just got 3 classics: Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, Candle in the Wind, and Benny and the Jets. Side 2, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. The song has no title. Grey Seal, Jamaica Jerk Off. I've seen that movie too. Outstanding track on side 1, of course, is the title track, but it is my favourite track on the album. But when it comes down to a whole side, it's got to be side 1, isn't it? And Richard was right, it is side 1. Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, Candle, Benny and the Jets. What a start to an album. As I said, Funeral for a Friend is one of the best opening tracks on any album. Candle in the Wind is a beautiful song about Marilyn Monroe. Benny and the Jets. You just can't get any better than them 3 songs on one side. 3 songs, but 3 classics from Elton John. I mean, if Goodbye Yellow Brick Road was on there, that would have even been a more bombastic, brilliant side. But I think the first 4 tracks from this album are just fantastic. They are the best tracks on the album straight at the beginning. Not saying the others are not good, but for me, them first 4 tracks on this album are just top draw Elton John at his very, very best. So today the winner, of course, is side 1. Well done, Richard, for guessing. But I think he knew that anyway. Okay, that's all for today. We'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to start off with was it part 5 of the Frank Zappa story. It's the 1990s, the decade that he sadly died. So we've got 1 album. Normally I wouldn't put live albums in rankings, but because this was the last album of his lifetime, it's gone in, and the rest are posthumous. And then tomorrow's retro ranking, a band that sometimes just get forgotten about in the 60s. They had some great hits, and it's the brilliant Manfred Mann. So we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye for now.